Men hate Uber. That's the headline I kept seeing after Uber released a new option allowing women to choose female drivers. But here's the thing, this isn't about Uber at all. If you know me, you know that I'm obsessed what lies beneath the human behavior, not the surface story. Because anger is almost never about what it looks like. So today I want to take you deeper into what's behind that anger, frustration, hatred, and defensiveness. And once you see it, you'll never look at anger or hatred the same way again. So let's start with a simple truth. Anger is rarely about the thing that it targets. It's not about the Uber app, it's not about the woman. Anger is a signal, a reaction to a perceived threat. Think about it like this. A man might react by thinking, women don't trust me. Women think that I am dangerous. That thought triggers fear, and fear triggers anger. And here's a real example. One of my friends was coming home alone in an Uber. And before she was able to pay him, he said that there's no need to do so. Then he actually put his hand on her thigh and insisted to not pay again. Of course, she immediately left the cab and of course reported that person. Another friend of mine always make sure to enter a different address than where she's actually going. Why? Because she feels unsafe, and she actually had incidents that I don't even want to talk about that essentially put her in danger in regards to that. These are not rare situations. Women have lived experiences that teaches them that they need to protect themselves. It's dangerous to be naive. Features like female drivers exist because of safety, not because someone else is trying to hurt someone else's feelings. It was never about that. So why men take that personally? Because boundaries feel like rejection. And when the human ego feels rejected, it interprets that as a threat. Boundaries are not attacks, they are protection. But when someone perceives threat to something that they are valuing, like their self-image, control, or entitlement, they react defensively. And that's where hatred shows up. So here's something that most people miss. When someone reacts with anger, with harsh words, it's often a disordered defense mechanism. They feel as if something was taken away from them, or they lost control over something that they think has belonged to them, even though nothing was actually taken. That reaction is a scream for reassurance. It's a way of trying to restore the world in a way they think it should be. Think of it as a form of bullying or manipulation, discouragement, criticism, or pressure, all driven by fear and a need of certainty. In the Uber example, men are not mad at women about them choosing safety. They're acting as if their normal or assumed control has been threatened. Their anger is a signal of unmet needs and inner discomfort, not an attack. So as you can see, there's actually nothing that's wrong with you. And in general, hatred is actually tricky. Many people think that it's power. It feels very bold, very strong, even righteous, but it's actually the opposite. Hatred is a cover emotion for fear and pain. It's a sign that someone feels powerless relative to what they perceive as threat. When men get angry about women choosing other women to drive them, that anger often masks as deeper discomfort, a fear that they are not trusted, not respected, or somehow inadequate. The hatred isn't about the Uber feature itself as well. It's about the feeling that stirs in them personally due to those subconscious insecurities. And this is actually where empathy comes in. Understanding why someone reacts the way that they do doesn't mean excusing their behavior. It means seeing the fear underneath that reaction and recognizing boundaries as necessary. Women aren't creating rules to be cruel. They are creating safety measures for themselves. Men who respect those measures are the ones who actually prove themselves trustworthy. Also, a very interesting point, most women who actually have a woman that they truly care for in their life, not necessarily a partner, actually feel relief after this update. When you love someone, you take them as a part of yourself. This ensures you consider their best interest. And when they feel safer, you feel better about it as well. So let's take this insight to an everyday life. When someone gets defensive or reactive, pause. Then ask yourself, what threat might they perceive right now? What pain or fear might they be reacting to? What are they possibly trying to reclaim or restore? This mindset doesn't just help in these situations like with Uber updates. It changes how we interact with anyone who feels challenged, unsafe, or rejected. We sometimes do feel like that, honestly, everyone. So anger and hatred become signals, not weapons. This is how we connect rather than disconnect. So next time you're gonna see someone reacting with anger, remember, their hatred says more about their inner state than about you. So to make this concrete, women choose safety, men get defensive, and the ego interprets it as being as a threat. Hatred shows up. But here's the shift. When we understand this mechanism, we don't take this personally anymore. We can respond with understanding, set boundaries clearly, and see the fear hiding beneath that anger. So here's the takeaway. Boundaries are not attacks, they are protection. Anger is not about the target, it's about the perceived threat. Hatred hides pain and fear, and it's not power. Recognizing this gives you control. You're no longer at the mercy at someone else's reaction. You can respond with clarity, empathy, and integrity, not defensiveness or retaliation. In a world that encourages quick judgment and reactive anger, understanding mechanics behind these reactions is rare, and it's extremely powerful. Next time you see someone else angry about boundaries, pause and consider. What pain or fear is hidden behind that reaction? What are they trying to reclaim? And how can you maintain your integrity while respecting theirs? By doing this, we reduce the need for hatred. We break the loop between fear and anger and actually create space for real understanding. So if you want to stop taking things personally, this is your doorway in understanding others and yourself when hatred emerges. And remember that the goal is not about excusing bad behavior. It's to see the pattern beneath it. Real strength comes from responding and not reacting. So safety, respect, and boundaries are the foundation. If you found this eye-opening, watch this video next because it uncovers why harsh actions of others are actually often rooted in pain and why almost everyone gets it wrong.